And progesterone, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was snapping. I'm always tired.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Me First Podcast, Season 2, Episode 8. We are talking about something very important, very timely. Why communication feels harder. My name is Marge, and this is my cousin and friend, Ria. And before we talk about talking, not just talking, let's check in with each other. How are you doing? I feel we've kind of recently, despite you being in Spain and me being in the US, our colors are kind of matching along the same theme.
I know. It's so cute. I know, right?
We're kind of syncing like periods. This is pretty.
We are. Can you imagine if we lived in one house?
Oh my God, it would make people crazy. How are you? How are you? How's it going? How I can't talk. How's it been over there?
Very good. I'm doing well. Very good. I'm taking care. Right now, I'm taking care online. I'm taking care of my mom at the same time because she had a stroke, a mini stroke, a month ago. So that's what I've been doing lately, monitoring her consistently and doing the stuff, wonder stuff, and life. And how are you?
Girl, I'm telling you, you know this. I've told everybody this jokingly, but I'm not really joking. It's hard to raise your parents.
I
Hard
know.
to raise.
Sandwich
Yours.
generation.
We totally are. We are totally a sandwich generation. But, I've been taking care of my mom since I moved her over here in
Yeah.
September. My mom has a lot of health issues. Positively speaking, her last appointment showed that she showed like significant improvement. But that said, it wasn't easy. I'm gonna we on our podcast talk about protein a lot. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. My mom is 84 years old, and her lab shows. Actually, we need to go to the hematologist, but her lab shows that she is protein calorie malnourished. Yeah, that's exactly what it said.
Oh, they can see that in her labs.
Yeah, you can. You can actually. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna go. Maybe I'm gonna go back and look at it later, and kind of see which part of it is. But I think it's definitely what's causing anemia for her. And the challenge is that she is now so anemic that she needs to go to the hematologist for an IV infusion. That's how bad it is. Yeah. And this is, speaking of raising parents, speaking of taking care of parents, I think it's culturally for us where we don't eat a lot of meat. We think meat is bad for you, and so everybody feels humbled and
Yeah,
they just eat a lot of vegetables.
exactly.
Well, they ate vegetables to their
Vegetables.
detriment. Yeah. Because in our minds, eat vegetables. It's healthy for you. Well, yeah, it is. But, balanced meals is actually what's healthy for you, not just eating only vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
100%.
my mom is protein malnourished. That's what her lab shows. So,
See?
very, very, very
Do we
important.
want to be like that? Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have
completely
to work
agree.
on that as early as now.
Yeah. And you still got time. If you think about it, my mom is 84 now. She's definitely stronger, but yeah.
Yeah.
So you're asking how I am? That's really how it's been most of my time. I'm either working on a winter, or taking care of mom. I think since September, we've probably had doctor's appointments every month, waiting on bone density results
Wow.
and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's easier because we're in the States, so we have a lot of all these modern technology kind of accessible to us, whereas in another country, it's a little bit more challenging. But yeah, definitely.
True.
So, but we're talking about communication. So it's really funny that this is our topic today. I had just completed annual evaluations for my staff. And one of the main topics that we were talking about when we discuss opportunities for improving is communication. So one of my staff members, just for context, she's 43, I think she's 44 or 45, and the other one is 34. Both are supervisors who report to me. If in those ages communication is a challenge, imagine including perimenopause and hormonal shifts in there. It makes it faster. Your patience is shorter.
Yes.
You shut down. You forget things in your head. People just don't get it. Your patience is just much, much, much shorter. And that happens to a lot of people. right now. I think that's probably one of the biggest things that we have issues on today. What do you think? Do you have your own
Absolutely.
experiences
I
with communication
100%.
issues?
Yeah, a lot. A lot. Actually, that's the first I told you about this. It was my first perimenopause symptoms. I had anxiety, borderline depression. And at first, I didn't know what was happening. I thought that I was just going crazy. I was always having arguments with my husband and it blows up all the time. So at one point, I really thought that I was just going crazy and I'm a bad person, being reactive and snapping, and oh, I was just so negative at that time. And then that's when a wonder started. It's because I finally was able to piece everything up together, and I realized that it started when I was 38, 39, late 30s. So I realized that it's the progesterone, which is the first hormone to decline in perimenopause. This is our calming hormone. It helps us to sleep and chill. So there was some point that I had zero, zero progesterone at one lab result. It's crazy. So, yeah, so okay, finally I realized that,
Yep,
okay, I'm not crazy. There's some things happening in my body and it needed a different kind of support. Plus, estrogen is also shifting, and we know that it affects serotonin and dopamine. So all of these things are happening, and progesterone, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was snapping. I'm always tired. So it was hard. Relationships, talking to everyone. Generally, it affected everything. So that was my experience.
absolutely. So just
How
remember,
about you?
zero progesterone is zero chill. That's what it is.
Yes, right?
That's what it's equivalent. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, perimenopause and menopause impacts the brain significantly, as much as it kind of impacts your body. You know, we talked about on the previous episode, we talked about how it impacts how you look. It actually impacts your brain. You're right. When your estrogen declines, it impacts your serotonin and your dopamine and your mood. When your progesterone declines, you like I said, zero progesterone means you become zero chill. Sleeping definitely causes that. I think it's normal for a lot of people. Even a baby, when they don't take naps, they're impatient. So
Right? They're grumpy. Yeah.
yes, yes. So if you just think about it, if you are experiencing all these things, it's harder to communicate and you're brain fogging. One of the things that I realize about myself is I'm over here, right? So I feel like I cannot communicate. And then when I have zero patience, I want to yell at someone, but then I cannot think of
Mhm.
what I want to say when I want to yell back. So
Yeah.
I can't really
Oh,
snap
same
back
experience. It's
either
crazy.
because you're so angry. You want to say something, but you couldn't say it. You end up saying the wrong thing. And then you calm down for a little bit and you're like, that's what I should have said. So absolutely.
It's not over.
It's then you kind of want to go back and argue a little bit. You're like, wait a minute, I'm not done. I have a follow up.
Because I just remembered
I
finally.
just remember what I was supposed to say to you anyway. But I think a lot of us need to kind of start talking,
It's not fair.
right? It's worse if you're at work and like you have
Yeah,
coworkers.
I can
Sometimes,
imagine.
sometimes you just have coworkers that are intolerable. Period. And you're in the middle of a meeting and they say something and you want to come up with a rebuttal, but you can't say anything at the time. And then you realize, you know what, that's what I should have said.
Ooh, it's hard.
Yes. So really, if you think about it, when you are thinking, and well, you know what, before I go on with what I was going to say, I think the other thing too is that when we tend to do those things, everything seems a little bit more exaggerated. And so it looks like we're overacting. It looks like we're dramatic, but honestly, we're not. And then it
No.
makes it worse when you have somebody who's telling you that, oh, you're being dramatic. It just makes it worse. And
Yeah.
it's really, really not. You're not overreacting. You're not being dramatic. It's just your nervous system is tired. Your brain is tired.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes. It.
you're not supporting yourself. So, if you're thinking, you know what, why can't I communicate better? And you're thinking you're just having some sort of challenges that you're going through, start thinking about what you might be doing to cause it and start working on solutions. Let's talk about that next. What are your
Mhm.
solutions? Do you have any supplements
Well,
out
my
there?
solutions, I did. Creatine was the first thing that helped me with my anxiety. There are actually a lot of studies right now that they're doing. It's a group of people who are into in antidepressants. So they're under antidepressants, and then another group, they were taking antidepressants plus creatine. So they found out that that group who's also supplementing with creatine did a lot better. I just don't know the exact number, but this is a scientific study and it proved that. So that helped me a lot taking creatine, especially because I wasn't eating a lot of red meat back then. So, and then magnesium supplements, because we are deficient. I eat healthy. I watch what I eat, but at this stage, our bodies doesn't absorb everything from food anymore, even if we're eating everything right. So I supplemented in magnesium with magnesium. But I want you actually to talk about this because it's profound what you just explained to me earlier about sometimes magnesium, it's supposed to calm you down, but then for other people, it's suddenly like
It's
they
counterproductive.
feel depressed or something. Can you explain that so other people would
Well,
maybe
if you
learn
think
from
about
this?
it, yeah, absolutely. So if you think about it, magnesium glycinate is really almost like an antidepressant. So if you have too much of it, it could potentially cause you to be extremely, extremely tired. There's a lot of people, and you have to remember different supplements affect people differently. Okay, there are some of us who could take magnesium glycinate in the morning and they're fine. There's a lot of us really because it's
Mm-hmm.
recommended that you take magnesium glycinate at night. Because if you take too much of something, it becomes counterproductive and you end up feeling tired
Yeah.
because that is the way it affects your body. And I think we have a tendency to kind
Mm-hmm.
of forget that because magnesium glycinate helps you kind of regulate. God, it's coming out of my head, but it kind of helps you regulate your mental abilities. Kind of helps you
Nervous
regulate
system.
your nervous system, your entire disposition. Magnesium glycinate has like a direct impact
Mm-hmm.
on your overall like disposition. It's kind of what helps you
Yeah.
kind of calm down. And if
Mm-mm.
you have too much of it, it could potentially take you even lower and you become more tired, possibly more sluggish. So these are things that you kind of have to. Do you remember when I was first taking magnesium glycinate last year? Maybe the year before. It was the year before.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started taking magnesium glycinate, it kept me up at night because I was anxious. So I
Yeah.
started taking it. Yeah, I started taking it in the morning, and then actually went back to taking it at night, and it totally, totally works well now. So all these things we need to
It's
be
interesting,
cognizant.
right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. A
Yeah.
lot of these
Okay.
things we all need to be kind of cognizant about. But the one thing that I want to give as probably another solution that we all need to think about is look at all these things and handle it with a little bit more emotional intelligence. I'll explain
Mm-hmm.
that a little bit more. Emotional
Mm-hmm.
intelligence is really the knowledge or knowing how people are going to react to whatever you say or do, right? So, the one thing that we can practice, and this is regardless of age, the one thing that you could practice is if you think of something before you let it out of your mouth, pause,
Yeah.
think. Because I'm going to tell you, even just the little 5 to 10 seconds that you are pausing to think will lower the cortisol, which is the spike that makes you want to say something back. And it will prevent you from being reactive when you communicate, right? So if somebody
It's
says
true.
something
A
awful to
pause,
you,
a three
instead of
second
just
pause.
whatever it is that you're going to need. So if somebody says something awful to you, don't say anything back right away. Pause for a second, even if it's just, and then say something back. That
Yeah.
will help so that you are not reactively communicating, so that you do not say anything that you're going to regret. And I promise you, I'm teaching you this from experience because I've done it multiple times. Where because I
Mm-hmm.
did not pause to think, I said something that I was like, oh, that's probably not cool. I mean, I apologize
You're gonna regret now.
sometimes, but you want to always be at a point where when you communicate, you're able to stand by the things that you say and do and not have to regret it. So a lot of people say
Yeah.
that about me where they say, you know
Makes
what,
sense.
I know you very well. You put a lot of thought in the things that you say or do. So when you do something that hurts me, I know you knew that it's going to be the impact. I'm like, for the most part, yes. But
Wow, I
so
love that. I would love for someone to tell me that. I know you, that you really give a lot of thought before you say something. Yeah, I'm gonna work on that.
it's a challenge because there are times where you know how the decision that you make impacts the people that they are being directed at, right? And depending on
Mm-hmm.
how emotionally mature those people are, they're not always going to take it positively. And that's kind of where the challenge happens. And so, for the most part, I always try to be empathetic when I communicate. But there are
Mm-hmm.
times when I tell the truth and it doesn't always sit very well. I had a friend, she listens to our podcast actually. There was a long time ago where I actually
Mm-hmm.
told her, I said, have you ever paused to think that maybe you're addicted to drama?
True.
So, a lot of those things and self reflection all the time, and then start looking
Very
at this.
important.
Yes. Here's the other thing. If somebody says something that hurt you or bothers you or whatever, don't suppress it. Label the feeling and communicate it. You don't have to say something shitty
Yeah.
back. You don't. You label it and you say, hey, I just wanted you to know when you said this, it made me feel XYZ. And that will initiate better communication instead of suppressing your emotion, which could very well cause a really big explosion eventually.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's a challenge. And it's kind of sad because there are a lot of people our age who aren't necessarily emotionally intelligent. I'm going to admit, earlier in my career, I wasn't. I was in a leadership class where we were we were given a test to see how emotionally intelligent we are, and my boss was like, you got to do something about that. And that really means, you're incredibly
Really?
insensitive. Oh yeah, definitely. I think this was like
Mm-hmm.
2014. um, Emotional intelligence is not inherent to a lot of people. The sad part about
Mm-hmm.
this is that at the time I was even proud about how I am. Like, you know what? You need to be able to. So, this is my mentality at work. You need to be able to separate your personal and professional. So, whatever's going on at home, shut it down when you're at work because you're here and you're supposed to be working. And while in hindsight, a lot of times people are like, well, yeah, that's how it should be. That's not necessarily true. You can't. I mean, when something's happening to a person, the whole entire environment is impacted regardless of whether or not they're at home. And
Yeah.
so, these are things that all of us kind of need to learn to be empathetic about. And not everybody has that
Mm-hmm.
ability. So, definitely
Yeah.
sharpen emotional intelligence. There's actually a lot of books on that. I have a book on it called,
Mm-mm.
I'm going to show you. I have a book on it called Emotional Intelligence 2.0. This one. This is a
Oh,
really good book. Yeah, I highly
okay.
recommend it. It's a really good.
You're
It's
gonna
a
have
really
to
good.
send the details to me.
Just it's a small book. It's a really easy read, but if you practice it, it's amazing. It's super beneficial, and I I don't think you need it. I think you're emotionally intelligent, but obviously, all of us still have room to grow wherever. And
No.
if you're
Yeah.
thinking you want to do that, look into it. Anyways, we're coming
Yeah,
to
it's an
a
everyday thing.
close.
It's an
Well, the other thing about that is growth mindset is very important, no matter how old you are. And I think that's something a lot of people forget, especially in our culture. We have a tendency to
Mhm.
say, you know what, I'm old, I should be able to do or say whatever I want. And that's not necessarily true.
No.
So, anyways, we are coming up to a close for the episode. What is your me first promise? To yourself?
I'm gonna work on what you just said to
Emotional intelligence?
pause. Emotional intelligence and pause. I learned a lot from this episode. And I'm definitely gonna purchase that book. Yeah.
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 It's really inexpensive. It's probably like $10, maybe. Well, I don't know how much it is in Spain. But yeah,
Good.
absolutely. Let's see. What is my me first promise? I have to think. I actually did. I have a funny story before I give you my me first promise. I got a feedback. It's
Mm-hmm.
also it's I told you it's annual evaluation at my work. One of the feedbacks that I
Mm-hmm.
got was Marge has an opportunity to collaborate with other departments in a way that is mutually respectful so that she can get better outcomes. Mind you, I've delivered successful outcomes, But because I was not in the proper mindset, I read that sentence in a completely negative perspective. Like, what do you mean I have an opportunity to be mutually respectful? Are you trying to tell me that I was never respectful? That was my initial instinct. And so,
Okay.
yeah, so honestly speaking, that still happens to me. But the difference is, instead of saying it, I had it in my head. The sad part about this whole thing is I know my boss did not mean it in the way that I interpreted it. I know she didn't because I know her very well. But because I was
Mm-hmm.
not in the right mindset, I sat there thinking, how could this even be an opportunity? Maybe they should learn to be respectful in their communication too. So, what is my
That's
me
why
first promise?
communication.
My me first promise would be to continue to exercise, pausing still, continue to exercise emotional intelligence, and continue to be kind of self-aware. I'm going to try my best to continue to
Mm-hmm.
be a little bit more self-aware. I kind of have a tendency to do that already, where I'm like, hey, is it okay if we don't have this conversation right now because I'm just feeling salty? I do that. I do that to my staff. I do that
Wow.
to, to Matt, all that stuff. I'm like, hey, is it okay if we don't talk about this right now? I'm able to do that now, but I need to do it more.
Wow.
Just be honest.
Amazing. I
Just,
wanna,
yeah.
yeah.
It's really just communicating, just being able to say, hey, is it okay? Even then, learning to say, is it okay if we pause and not talk about this right now versus saying, I don't really want to talk about this right now. I had to learn that. And that's something I had to
Mm-hmm.
learn recently. Because before, I'm like, I just don't want to talk about it. So listen to this, right? If you say, hey, can we talk about this? I can tell you two ways. The one way is, I don't really want to talk about it right now. How does that make you feel? Versus, is it okay if we pause and table this for a different conversation because I'm not in the right mindset? So,
Huge difference.
definitely. So, because the other one is a little bit more confrontational
Mm-hmm.
and it's a little bit more adversarial almost. And you kind of want to get away from that.
Mm-mm.
Lots of things. Anyways, yeah, check out that book. It's called Emotional Intelligence 2.0. And with that, we are coming up to a close of today's episode. Remember, it is not a personality flaw. It's a combination of your body, burnout, and probably all boundaries, all of that trying to surface. So support it, learn to set your boundaries, and learn to enforce them. As always, be part of the Me First podcast. Like, follow, share this video, subscribe to our socials, follow the Awendra. We're on Instagram or Facebook, and we are on TikTok. We now also have Awendra Health on the socials, where we post free menopause coaching for free, because not everybody can afford that. And then, as always, give our product a try. Mind and Motion is available on the TikTok shop. If you check it out, shipping is actually free right now. And awendra.com. Once again, see you next time. Subscribe to the Me First podcast. This is the place where we put ourselves first without guilt, because if we don't, who will? Everybody have a wonderful week, and we will definitely see you next time. Have a good day.